Welcome to another week of Turnpike Sports. I am Dave Weishuttle, and as always, I am joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weishuttle. Doug, hi, how you doing?
Much better now that the sports betting decision has been
finally. Oh my God, what a week! Wow.
They took their sweet time to get that thing done with. And
I know.
You know. I understand they had all these decisions and they had to go through the previous term and all that stuff. But man, they got to find a better way to get some of these decisions out there quicker. But, it's one of those things. It's out there now. Now we're going to see a really dash to the finish line of who's going to be doing what.
I know. I remember in New Jersey wanted to start by Memorial Day. It looks like that's not going to happen. They have to have legislation and regulations put in place before that. I think a vote is June 7th from what I'm hearing in the papers and things like that.
Yeah, so. And we're going to talk about this all throughout the show anyway because you got a great interview with Adam Small from Penn Bets and NJOnlineGambling.com. You're going to be talking to him about that.
Yeah, he's going to break it all down, what it means for not just New Jersey, but around the country. And I think there might be states that might start taking bets before New Jersey. So you just never know. And, hey, and by the way, speaking of betting, are the sports books going to take a bath on the Golden Knights?
It's going to be
First off, congratulations to the Golden Knights. Great news story, great sports story of the year.
I actually like seeing what's happening with the NHL, with the Knights and everything else, especially with a Vegas team.
Oh.
Everything's all tied into sports betting all of a sudden. So.
Yeah. Oh, boy, are they going to pay out. They are going to pay out. But
500 to 1 odds at the beginning of the season.
Wow. Boy, if you put $50 on that, I'd be,
I'm sure somebody has.
Well, it's been a great week in sports, so let's take a ride on the Turnpike.
Exit 1.
Speaking of sports betting, and this just recently happened, it came down earlier this week, the Nevada Gaming Control Board has now permitted betting on the Golden Tee World Championships.
I had to I did a double take on this one. I was like, Golden Tee? You mean the arcade golf game? And that's it, right?
Technically, you can call this one of the first esports.
Oh, so we're calling this esports now. All right, okay.
Well, they're going to have it happens in Vegas anyway.
Sure.
It's at the Orleans Casino. They're going to have 64 players. They had 64 players last year. They got a prize pool of over $100,000.
And now you can bet on these players, right, who are playing Golden Tee.
You can bet on the players, and really, it's going to
Are there prop bets, too, connected with it?
Really, it's all right now, you're able to bet on the championship. If you're going to do prop bets, you got to file again with the Gaming Control Board and get permission to do prop bets. The odds are going to be set up by the books themselves. There's no set odds there. This is why I thought this was interesting. The official results are going to come from Golden Tee itself.
Okay.
The game company.
All right.
Now, I'm wondering if this is going to be some kind of precursor to how the sports leagues are going to be doing their stuff because they control the official results, Golden Tee. So, maybe the leagues are going to start doing that too with all their stuff.
Well, that might tie in because NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell came out with a statement this week saying they want Congress to do something about sports betting because they want to protect their content of the league and the league's intellectual property. So, hey, this might fall in line of what they're talking about. I can't believe the NFL is going to use the example of the Golden Tee World Championship, but I guess it's on the same line of thinking.
Well, the one thing I always hear everyone talking when they say intellectual property, they're talking about the names and the players and the stats and all that stuff. The one thing that no one's talked about is what do they do about the broadcasts? The TV broadcasts are technically are owned by the leagues. You hear that warning at the end of the broadcast, owned by the NFL and its licensees. Sure. It's one of those things where maybe that's where the money for the leagues comes from, by licensing the broadcast to get the official results out.
Yeah, you raise an interesting point. Is the Golden Tee World Championships, do they have announcers? I mean, is this going to be televised somewhere, or
I think it's going to be on Twitch, probably.
Twitch, and they'll have announcers. And my second question about Golden Tee, when I played it when I was, decades ago, I'm assuming it's the same type of game. They had that big roller ball where you controlled the power of the swing and stuff like that. I saw people wind up and hit that ball like you wouldn't believe.
You got me. I have no idea. I've never played it, to be honest with you.
Oh, are you kidding? Oh, I played it.
I did pull this one little interesting statistic out. The last year's champion won $10,000. That would put him ahead or tied with PGA golfers Robert Allenby, Stuart Appleby, Craig Barlow, and Tiger Woods in 2017 prize winnings.
That's crazy.
That's amazing. That's just crazy.
Exit 2.
And we're back to this again. The NFL has just issued new kickoff rules to prevent concussions. Now, this is crazy to me. I mean, I understand the safety issue and everything else, but they said they conducted a study, and it was 5 times more the chance of concussions on a kickoff play than any other play in the NFL. So they actually issued up new rules.
I read these rules, and I don't understand them, what they want the players to do. They can't take a running start.
I understand that.
I got that part, but they have to. 2 people have to be outside the line. 2 players have to be inside the line.
No, outside the numbers.
Outside. Okay.
What they're trying to do is rearrange the way they line up so that you can't get a free runner going down the field and nail somebody. So they're trying to do that. No more wedge blocking at all. And it's one of those things where concussions did go down 20% according to this study, but from last year to this year. Or this past year and the previous year, but this might be the last year for kickoffs.
I mean, you're losing jobs. A lot of these guys make these teams because of special teams, because of kickoffs.
Well, you still have special teams.
Well, I know you have special teams, but how do you evaluate them when you can't run down full speed? You're really hindering them how they're running or blocking and things like that. And another thing, there were some great players who made a name for themselves returning. I mean, Devin Hester, who just retired. Boy, he might go to the Hall of Fame because he was a great kickoff returner.
I think you're going to see more kickoff returns for touchdowns under these new rules because you can't really do anything as the kickoff coverage team. There's not much you can do here. You can't get free. You can't tackle the guy. I think there's going to be a lot more returns. But the one thing that I'm interested in seeing is are they still going to have the onside kicks?
Yeah, I don't know.
Under these rules, you can't have it. They have to have 5 and 5 on each side of the ball at the kickoff line.
And you can't have a running start and things like that. So
unless there's some kind of new rule or exclusion that they're going to have for onside kicks.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was the XFL that didn't have kickoffs, but they had 2 guys, one from each team, and I think they just threw the ball down and they just ran down the field and tried to grab the ball, and whoever got the ball, that team got possession.
No, they placed the ball at midfield.
Okay.
And they had the 2 guys running in, and they did a scramble for it.
Toward each other? Or
toward the ball.
Toward the ball. Okay.
First ones
are we going to have that now?
That I would love to see, but that might even be worse for concussions.
Yeah,
so
I know.
We'll see what happens, but like I said, I want to see what they do with onside kicks.
Exit 3.
Now, you've heard of rain delays.
Mm-hmm.
We have a softball tournament that got stopped for a chopper delay.
A chopper, was it landing on the field? Or
no, this happened a couple weeks back with the college softball tournament, the Big Ten college softball tournament. They had a rain delay in the first inning of 45 minutes. Then they had a second rain delay of 5 hours. So the field was basically destroyed. And they had to get these games in.
It's a tournament, right?
Yeah. So they called in a chopper to hover above the field and dry it out.
Oh, to dry off the field? Because, I don't think some of these fields have tarps or anything like that.
Well, they had a third delay of 20 minutes so that the chopper can come down, dry it out. They even had on the scoreboard, a couple of them, chopper delay. So I've never heard of that before.
Did it do any good? I guess
they got the game in.
But did it really
dry the field out? They said dry the field out real good. You got it back into a playable condition, and just in case anyone's interested.
Did the chopper land and just keep rotors going? It hovered. Okay.
It hovered. And just in case anyone's interested, the 2 teams involved were Minnesota and Wisconsin. Minnesota went on to win their 3rd straight by beating Northwestern. So this chopper delay probably was a good thing for them.
Exit 4.
Ichiro Suzuki made the news even though he retired from baseball. He asked, who the bleep is Tom Brady? This was part of a retrospective by Peter Gammons on the on his career in baseball when he retired. He's now front office or something for Seattle. So it was told by Don Mattingly, and Peter Gammons relayed the story that Ichiro was in the coach's room looking through his text messages, and he received one from a number he didn't recognize the number from, and it was a guy asking to discuss his stretching system and his techniques. So Ichiro asked one of the coaches about it, and the coach asked who sent it, and he looked through this text message, and he said, some guy named Tom Brady. Who the bleep is Tom Brady?
I hope someone said he's the guy who fumbled in the Super Bowl to allow the Eagles to win.
Well, this was before that, so. But now that was, I guess that could be considered the last hit of Ichiro's career right there.
That was great. What a great way to end.
Yeah. So we'll see. All right, that's the rundown for today. Thanks for taking the ride on the Turnpike. Get in touch with us at 609-512-6510. That's our caller and text line, 609-512-6510. You can hit us up on Facebook or Twitter at Turnpike Sports for each of those. Email us at info@turnpikesportsradio.com. Don't forget to order your international bikini team calendar, info@internationalbikini-team.org to get the information. And Dave will be doing his interview with Adam Small from Penn Bets and NJ Online Gambling later on in the show. So.
Everything you want to know about the new sports betting opinion from the U.S. Supreme Court, what it means for New Jersey, what it means for the rest of the country, what it means for the sports league. So some great information from Adam Small coming up. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
You've been hearing me talk about MyPillow and the benefits of using it to get a good night's sleep, alleviate your sore neck and back, and the special deal you can get from MyPillow through the show. Well, not only can you pick up the special deal for 4 MyPillows when you use promo code CARDS, but now you can get $100 off your purchase of the MyPillow mattress. Yeah, that's right, the MyPillow mattress. The MyPillow mattress comes with a 10-year warranty and a 120-day money-back guarantee. The MyPillow mattress is made up of 3 unique layers, providing you the comfort and support to fall asleep and stay asleep all night. It even has the luxurious Dream Soft cover, which is stain-resistant and stays cool all night. Just head on over to MyPillow.com, click on the MyPillow mattress link, and enter promo code CARDS at checkout to get $100 off your order, or call 1-800-319-7913 to order by phone. That's MyPillow.com, or call 1-800-319-7913 and use promo code CARDS. Better sleep starts with MyPillow.
New Jersey's online gambling market is loaded with so many different sites and all kinds of promotions, it's enough to make your head spin like the reels on an old-time Atlantic City slot machine. So how do you make sense of all that information floating out there in cyberspace? Well, you don't have to. That's because the folks at njonlinegambling.com have done all of that for you. njonlinegambling.com is your complete resource for all the online sites in New Jersey. Which games have the biggest jackpots? njonlinegambling.com has the answer. Which sites use PayPal for deposits? njonlinegambling.com has the answer. njonlinegambling.com is the most trusted guide to the New Jersey online gambling market. Industry news, site reviews, the latest slots, table games, poker, they got it all in one spot. It's the ultimate resource for online players in New Jersey. They even got the best sign-up offers, better than some of the ones being offered by the online casinos themselves. Look, they say bet with your head. So why not do the same before you bet and check out njonlinegambling.com, the most trusted resource around for New Jersey's online gambling market. Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Stick around later on. I'm going to be talking with Adam Small from PennBets.com and njonlinegambling.com about sports betting with the new opinion from the U.S. Supreme Court declaring that the nationwide ban on sports betting is unconstitutional. What's it mean for the states? What's it mean for Jersey? What's it mean for Vegas? And what's it mean for the sports league? We're going to cover it all. But now is everyone's favorite section of the show. It's the Turnpike Sports Police Blotter. And as always, the Turnpike Sports Police Blotter is brought to you by Bean Genius. Over 2,000 specialty blends of coffee available at your fingertips at beangenius.com. Have some of the best coffee in the country delivered right to your door each month when you subscribe to Bean Genius. And now get 10% off of your subscription when you sign up at beangenius.com using our promo code PIKE at checkout. That's PIKE at checkout. Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service.
I got to find a special effect of a coffee maker brewing coffee or something going through that, where somebody's sipping coffee
just
like really
dripping
loud.
Water, I guess.
Yeah. All right, we're going to start off in the NFL. Current Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Terrence Williams was arrested and charged with public intoxication.
By the way, now is he their number one wide receiver now, or
if he sees the field?
Dez is gone. I guess he's got a little more responsibility this year, so he better keep it straight.
Well, hopefully this isn't how he handles extra stress. So what happened was police found his Lamborghini crashed into a light pole.
Wow.
All by itself. He wasn't there. He left the scene.
Okay.
So they were able to determine that the vehicle was registered to Williams.
Well, sure, it has a license plate, and he probably had his documentation in the glove compartment.
They found him near his residence, get this, riding an electric bicycle in the road.
Okay.
This is 4:30 in the morning.
You mean a moped?
It says an electric bicycle. It didn't say moped.
I don't even know what that means.
I guess it's a moped, but they found him riding a bicycle and arrested him right there in the street. They took him off the bike. So
now, was he riding his bicycle back to his car, or what was he doing? I mean, just riding a bicycle?
According to his attorney,
okay,
he was nowhere near this incident. He was not involved in it. He wasn't driving the car. He wasn't there.
So according to him, who was driving the car?
I don't know.
It just magically got there.
His attorney is saying this is a mistake. But, this is still going on.
Well,
that statement could go either way.
Understatement of the year.
But we'll see what happens. They're still investigating. Dallas is aware of it and everything else. They're watching it carefully. So, usual stuff with public intoxication. Next one up, Tennessee Tech defensive lineman Matthew Kenty. Charged. He was arrested and charged with patronizing prostitution.
Oh, okay.
Now, he's an 18-year-old. He just got out of high school. He's listed on Tennessee Tech's roster for football.
Okay. Was it an undercover cop or what?
He got caught up in a sting operation.
Oh, okay.
This was a human trafficking sting that targeted individuals attempting to purchase sex from minors. This was interesting. It took place in Putnam County, Tennessee, carried out by the TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, the District Attorney's Office, Cookeville Police Department, Putnam County Sheriff's Office, and Homeland Security.
Homeland Security?
Anything with human trafficking is Homeland Security.
I didn't know that.
They had fake advertisements put on this the site, that Backpage.com, with the sex site for people who want sex.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They had two female TBI agents, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, offering sex on the site, and they posed as 14 to 17-year-olds.
Wow.
So he got caught up in that. And, it's one of those things. Yeah, he total of 10 guys. College students, mail carriers, a landscaper, and they all traveled to meet these quote-unquote underage women for sex. And he was one of the guys that got arrested. So
were they underage? I don't think they were underage, right?
They posed as 14 to 17-year-old.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, but he was 17, I think, at the time when this happened anyway, because he just turned 18 to get going into high school, going to college. So he started off his college career in a really nice way. Next up, we have, and this one, no explanations have been given to this, but it's one of those things where he's an NFL free agent defensive lineman, Tony McDaniel, was arrested and charged with first-degree burglary. He allegedly stole his girlfriend's car keys and cell phone from her apartment.
Okay.
He came over to her apartment and wanted to borrow money. She obviously said no, so he took her car keys and cell phone.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Now, he's a free agent, so he's not on any team, so I don't know if he's actually going to be picked up by anything.
Probably not.
He's played for...
What position did he play?
Defensive lineman. He played on the Super Bowl Seahawks in 2013, Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa Bay, San Francisco, New Orleans. So we'll see if he gets picked up after this. And last but not least, we have a draft pick arrested.
He hasn't even played a down in the league yet.
Christian Kirk, Arizona's one of Arizona's newest players. He was selected in the 2018 draft. He is charged with disorderly conduct, disruptive behavior, and damaging property.
Whoops.
He was at this. I love the name of this game here. The Waste Management Phoenix Open.
Oh, wait a minute. That's a golf thing, right?
Yep. Sponsored by Waste Management.
Okay. All right.
So
he got wasted, huh?
Exactly.
Did he really?
No, he didn't get wasted.
What was he doing?
Throwing rocks at vehicles in the parking lot.
Okay, that's weird.
Well,
I mean, we should probably say allegedly because I'm sure they're going to say, no, I didn't do it. I accidentally kicked a rock or something like that.
The arresting officer was alerted for about two men, one of whom was Christian Kirk, by a man lying down in his van, which was allegedly damaged by a rock thrown by the two guys. Now, the guy, that's the weird part. The guy was in his van laying down already.
Okay.
So then the guy observed Kirk and his friend throwing rocks at other cars and semis and everything else in the parking lot.
This sounds like an interesting golf tournament. I got to check this out.
Obviously, it was a great time had by all, but except for the people who had rocks thrown at their cars in the parking lot. So I just love the guy laying in his van, who just happened to be laying in his van. So he
taking a break between holes.
Yeah, I guess, hopefully it wasn't a golfer, so he probably didn't make the cut. So that's it for the blotter this week. Visit our sponsor, beanggenius.com. Go to their subscription page, and you can get 10% off your subscription when you use our promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E.
And stick around with my interview with Adam Small from PennBets.com and NJOnlineGambling.com. We're going to be talking all things sports betting. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
We'll get right back to the show, but I want to take a minute to talk to you about Bean Genius. How would you like your coffee delivered right to your door every month, maybe 2 times a month? Well, now that can happen with Bean Genius. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country at beangenius.com. And Bean Genius actually learns their customers' individual taste preferences, then suggests future coffee blends for them. Well, how do they do that? Well, this is the cool thing about Bean Genius. Over at beangenius.com, they use an algorithm which learns the coffee flavors you like and then pairs up what you like with the coffee that they have in stock. And it's all based upon you. Every time you order, the system learns. The system learns your preferences as you go along and order more and more coffee. And now, all our listeners at Turnpike Sports can get a special offer. You head on over to beangenius.com/subscription, and you'll be able to get 10% off your purchase when you use our promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E, at checkout. That's 10% off at beangenius.com/subscription with promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E. beangenius.com, the smart specialty coffee subscription service.
Free stuff is awesome, but free stuff that will spice up your bedroom is even better. Just go to adamandeve.com and select almost any one item for 50% off, and then we'll load on the free stuff. Just enter this very exclusive code, BABE16 at checkout, and you'll get 10 tantalizing free gifts, including a sexy item for him, a special toy for her, and a third item you'll both enjoy. And for your viewing pleasure, 6 free spicy movies on DVD. Plus, free shipping! Always sent in discreet packaging. So go to adamandeve.com now. Get 50% off plus 10 free gifts when you enter the exclusive offer code BABE16. Again, that's BABE16. Because without it, no free stuff. That's BABE16 at adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. The U.S. Supreme Court has struck down the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, which will allow states to determine if they want to have sports betting. And as always, to help us make sense of this amazing piece of news, we have from PennBets.com and NGOnlineGambling.com, Adam Small. Adam, thanks for talking with us.
What just happened in this industry? Oh my God.
Finally, it's the day that people in the gambling industry have been holding their breath waiting for. They didn't know how this would shake out. From your reading of the opinion, what did the court actually say about the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, or PASPA, what everyone's calling it?
Yeah, they basically just said that it doesn't make any sense, that Congress grossly overstepped their authority in doing what they did, basically prohibiting states from regulating an activity, and they went into some detail on more technical case precedent and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it was kind of what even the amateur onlookers kind of thought was going to happen, which was that the Supreme Court was going to look at this law, which effectively says some states can do something but other states cannot, and just say this doesn't even make sense. Why prohibit regulation and legalization by states of this activity? And so they shut it down.
We talked about this before, and you just mentioned it, the different conclusions that the court could have come up with. They could have first said PASPA is constitutional and strike down the New Jersey law, or PASPA is constitutional and the New Jersey law is constitutional, which would have been a regulatory nightmare.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I couldn't even imagine that. And now they said PASPA is unconstitutional. This is by far the best possible outcome for everyone. Is that correct?
Yes, this was what we all were hoping for. There might have been a couple of niche providers that would have done better under the narrow repeal scenario, but almost the entire industry was hoping for this. This is the reason that companies like Paddy Power Betfair and William Hill have been investing millions of dollars in the United States. It's the belief that this entire country could open up, or not the entire country, because I don't think anyone thinks Utah is going to have legalized sports betting anytime soon, for example. Or even Georgia, where I live, just seems very unlikely. There's no gambling in the state at all other than the state-run lottery. But I do think that this is why so much investment has been pouring in, because everyone believed that 20, 30 states could have legal sports betting, and there's going to be a massive opportunity for a land grab over the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay, by a 7-2 vote, the U.S. Supreme Court said that New Jersey and let's be honest, by extension, other states can start taking bets on sporting events. So now what? I mean, let's stick with New Jersey. Can New Jersey start taking bets tomorrow? What are the next steps for New Jersey in order to allow them to accept sports bets?
So New Jersey cannot start taking bets tomorrow. There's been some rumbling about that, and I think Monmouth Park has been a part of that for a while now, with their CEO, Dennis Drazen, having told basically anyone who would listen over the last few years that they'd be taking bets within a few days or within a couple of weeks of Supreme Court ruling. I don't think that anyone has illusions right now that that's going to happen. The state needs to pass a law that provides a regulatory framework for sports betting, and then they need to come up with the regulations. I'm sure that they're going to be in a hurry to do it. I'm sure that they're going to want to have things up and running by NFL season, and that's really just 3 or 4 months away right now. But it's not going to be happening tomorrow. It's going to take a little time because, I mean, most of the venues don't even have sports books set up at this point, and there's no regulatory framework right now. So there is some work to be done. It's not going to be regulated temporarily by a non-state regulatory agency. I think that was always a pipe dream and not something that realistically would happen. So yeah, there is some time. I'm guessing 90 to 120 days, and at least some sports books will be up and running in the state.
Yeah, you mentioned the rumor that was floating around. I heard Philadelphia Sports Radio today, and they said, oh boy, maybe by the NBA Finals, which is, 2 weeks from now? I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, right.
But
yeah, we also were hearing that they might, during the NCAA tournament, they were saying if the Supreme Court ruled during the tournament that they could be taking bets by the final. Yeah, that was never happening.
I'm curious your information on this next rumor that I heard. I know it's been determined where the bets can be placed in casinos and horse tracks, but I've heard a lot of people talking about places like OTBs where they could have their bets placed in New Jersey. Have you heard of any effort to set up anything that resembles off-track betting for sports betting in New Jersey?
Do you mean specifically like mobile betting or something like that?
Yeah, I've heard that people want to set up storefronts and get licenses and things like that. Yeah, I mean, is that even possible? I can't see that happening, but I've heard rumblings about that.
Yeah, I mean, my guess would be no in New Jersey. I would think that it's going to be one of those things that's politically complicated, so it probably won't happen. I mean, you saw what a mess it was trying to get casinos in North Jersey, and how that has kind of fallen apart over the years. I think it's unlikely that we'll be seeing more brick and mortar sports betting locations open up. I do think that every single gambling venue in the state is going to have sports betting. Every single one of the racetracks and every single casino in Atlantic City.
I want to ask you about what people can bet on now. Certainly pro sports would be allowed, but what about college sports? I know, will people be allowed to bet on the NCAA? I remember that one of the proposals in New Jersey's law was that bets in New Jersey can't involve a collegiate event in New Jersey or a college team from New Jersey. Will that still be the case going forward?
I think it just depends what ends up being in the law that gets passed by the New Jersey legislature. My guess is that at the end of everything, they're going to want bets to be taken on those colleges just because that's probably something that a lot of people want to bet on. Local universities. There's some chatter today with Mark Cuban on Twitter talking about how they're worried about community colleges and people betting on community college games and players tanking. And I mean, who's going to bet on a community college game? I find it really hard to believe. I feel like they're really grasping at straws there. I do think there will be betting on universities, though, in most of the states that have sports betting, just because they're trying to get as much action as they can, and that's going to be a popular thing. And I think they can control it. And so, yeah, I do expect that. I know in West Virginia, for example, in the now infamous meeting that happened last week involving the governor and a bunch of regulators and some outside people that representatives from West Virginia University and Marshall were both there and were, I guess, discussing getting some sort of integrity fee paid to them. And so obviously they're expecting people to be wagering on their games if they're talking about integrity fees. And that's just an example of, I think, the universities are going to buy in the same way the leagues are. If they think they're going to get some money out of it, they're going to try to dip their hands in as far as they can.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, it's a controversial issue, and inside that controversial issue is another controversial issue, and that's the integrity fee. For those who don't know what an integrity fee is, what is it, and how does it factor in with sports betting?
Well, it's something that doesn't really exist anywhere yet. Although I think there's one or two small countries in Asia that have it. I think maybe Singapore. But it certainly doesn't exist in Nevada or anywhere in the U.S. Or Europe that currently handles sports betting. And the idea is that the leagues would like to get paid something by sports betting operators in exchange for the costs that are associated with policing the integrity of their events. So the NFL would argue, for example, and the NFL actually hasn't been a part of this, so maybe they're a bad example, but the NBA would argue that people are placing large wagers on NBA events, and the NBA needs a certain amount of money to make sure that those events are conducted fairly, that nobody's getting payoffs to perform a certain way in a certain game and change the outcome, or that referees and the like are not involved in anything like that, and that they're going to have costs associated with that. And I think the counter argument that a lot of people are making is these costs already exist. There already are people gambling on sports in the NBA and Major League Baseball and other leagues are already spending money to protect their integrity. And the reason they're protecting their integrity is not because they're worried about betting so much as because they want their games to be legitimate. That's an important part of their product. And so I think the sports betting operators and casino industry are kind of just balking at this in general. And have so far, too. There have been a few bills introduced that have something like as much as 1% of all wagers paid out to leagues and integrity fees. Now they're saying that they've negotiated down to 0.25% instead of 1%, but negotiated from their own arbitrary starting point, not by any legitimate process that's happened so far. And what they're demanding is actually quite a lot. I know they'll say, oh, it's only 0.25%, but the margins are only about 5%, the gross margins. And so that's still, 1/20th of the gross margin if it's 0.25%. And there's a lot of overhead as well in operating a sports book. So it's really, it's a hard thing. It's a hard sell. And it's particularly difficult because the leagues aren't guaranteeing anything in exchange. They're not promising to do certain types of work or provide accountability for how these funds are being used. They're not really promising anything in particular. They're just taking the money and putting it in their pocket, at least by all their proposed legislation. So it's very controversial right now, and we'll obviously be seeing a flurry of activity in legislature in the next few months. So we'll see if it gets any traction. My assumption is that they'll continue pushing for it, and some states will move ahead, at least on bills with integrity fee-like things in them. But it's hard to say if anything's actually going to pass with that.
So they would have to negotiate with the individual states. Do you see a scenario where certain states pay a different integrity fee than other states?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if any state pays an integrity fee at all, they'll be paying a different one than some other states, because Nevada certainly is not, and they're not going to change what they're doing. The only scenario that I can see where there are, in fact, integrity fees and they're uniform is if the federal if the Congress does something, and of course there are going to be people pushing for that. The NFL has already come out and started pushing for the Congress to pass a law that regulates sports betting at the national level and includes integrity fees. And the biggest reason that I think most of us think that they're doing that is because they're having a hard time cajoling state legislatures to do their bidding. So they're going to see if they can get it done in one fell swoop at the national level.
You know, since PASPA has been found unconstitutional, I would think the states don't have any motivation to even talk to the leagues. They know the U.S. Supreme Court found the law unconstitutional. Why am I even talking to you? They said we can do it, so we can do it, and you can't stop us. I mean,
right?
Do they even have a leg to stand on anymore? I mean, the leagues, do they have a leg to stand on?
They do and they don't. I mean, it's not legitimate. None of it is a real negotiation. It's just it's about the political economy and payoffs being made and campaign contributions and these quote-unquote relationships that exist between lobbyists and business people and legislators, that people are doing favors for each other. And I don't think that there's any popular movement to get things done under that kind of structure with the integrity fees. But there are legislators who are effectively in the pocket of some of these lobbyists and people associated with these leagues. The leagues are very powerful. I mean, they've convinced all kinds of municipalities around the country to invest hundreds of millions of dollars into building stadiums, public funds, to build these sports stadiums that are then privately owned by multi-billion-dollar sports teams. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. And if you ask anybody in the public what they think about that, I've never heard anybody, like literally no one has ever said to me, I'm so glad that my city taxed us more money and then spent it on building a sports stadium. Nobody thinks like that. Nobody wants that. There's no popular movement whatsoever, and yet it keeps on happening. And I think it's the same kind of situation here, at least what the leagues are hoping for, that legislatures in states or at the federal level will do their bidding despite it being unpopular.
You know, what a hypocritical term too, integrity fee. It just the term it just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, it's kind of Orwellian when you think about it. It's definitely not about integrity. It's just about a payoff. That's all it is.
I'm talking about New Jersey because it was mentioned in the U.S. Supreme Court case. But is there a possibility that other states could start taking sports bets before New Jersey?
That's certainly possible. I think New Jersey, for reasons we talked about earlier, is in prime position to get going pretty quickly. But I heard people in West Virginia already saying yesterday that they'd like to have things going before the NFL season starts as well. And it's a small state. There aren't a ton of venues, and it might be a little bit easier for them just based on the size of the state, maybe like the lower complexity of that market for them to get things going pretty quickly too. I definitely think that Pennsylvania is going to be pushing as well, and possibly more states. But I guess I would think that a lot of these states would be looking at the NFL season as a goal to have things going by then, just because it's the biggest opportunity of the year in terms of revenue. So there'll be a push to get done by then, and we might see several states go online around the same time.
Yeah, I think you just answered my next question, is when can we start seeing sports betting? So it's definitely football season, right?
Yeah, I definitely think that some of these states that are trying to push ahead are going to have things going by at least early in the football season. It might be slightly ambitious to be online before football season, but it's definitely a real possibility it could happen too. But I certainly expect before the end of the year to see some states online. We actually just put up an article about this yesterday on njonlinegambling.com about which states you might be able to take bets in by the end of this year.
Yeah, Rob Delafave wrote it, right?
Correct. Yep.
Well, yeah, I want to turn our attention back to New Jersey. Is there a place right now that is the front runner for sports betting? I know we talked about Monmouth Park, who I think has been preparing for this for months now. Do you think they're going to be one of the first ones to be up and ready in New Jersey?
Yes, I think they'll probably be the first, just depending on how long it takes to get the regulations in order. Just because they're already prepared, or mostly prepared in terms of their building structure. I think a lot of the casinos have not built exactly what they want or need for this yet, so they might be able to get something temporary up and running, but maybe won't be fully ready to capitalize on this opportunity this year. I know there's been a lot of talk at Borgata about moving ahead with the sports book, but I'm not quite sure how far along in that process they are. Monmouth Park is in good shape. They've been kind of putting all their chips on this bet for the last few years, and this is their moment. As far as their location is concerned, it might cause them a problem on some level, just because maybe it's just not as visited of a site compared to Atlantic City and a lot of what's there. And you'd think that that could cause them some issues if just people don't want to drive out there. But I think they're in pretty good position to be the first or one of the first online and taking bets.
Well, let me ask you about another location that I've heard rumors about. How about the Meadowlands in New Jersey?
Yeah.
I mean, you can actually see Manhattan from there. I mean, have they expressed interest in jumping into the sports betting field?
I haven't heard much, although I saw John Brennan, who everybody likes to read, put an article on Meadowlands' website yesterday talking about this. And I definitely think that they're going to be in the game. I think they're going to be taking bets there. And yeah, it's definitely, in my eyes, a more desirable location. It's obviously right by a couple of pro sports teams where they play. I guess a few actually, right? Because you've got
sure, you got
the Devils are still right there. The Nets are no longer. I forget that's Brooklyn now, but the Devils and the Jets and the Giants, right, are all right in that area.
They're right there.
So you've got a lot of sports fans passing through that zone, and it's obviously a much more populous area with what it's close to there. So I definitely think that could be a successful venue once it gets up and going.
How about sports betting online? How about sports betting online? I know DraftKings just opened up an office in Hoboken, and they hired a head of sports betting. And I just read an article that they're applying for a sports betting license. How close is
and they will be making hundreds of millions of dollars per year in New Jersey.
Yeah. Well, first off, I know they probably have to partner with an online casino or a brick and mortar casino. What is that process like? What and how far in the future is online sports betting in New Jersey?
I would be shocked if DraftKings hasn't already had a bunch of these conversations, because I'm sure that a lot of their future is staked on taking advantage of opportunities like what's coming in New Jersey, getting ahead as a major online partner to a brick and mortar casino. And so I'm guessing we'll be hearing news about that very soon. They're probably already either locked into something or close at this point. And yeah, I expect them to be a player there. They might not be offering the exact same suite of games that everyone else is offering. They might be doing some hybrid fantasy and sports betting type products. They might just be focused on single game wagers. I'm not really sure. It makes more sense to me that they'd offer some more hybrid type products, but I'm not sure what's going on exactly there. But yeah, I mean, I think the online sports betting is coming very soon. I would expect it by the end of this year, to be honest. In New Jersey, it's baked into existing law. There's nothing new that needs to pass to make it happen. And we have a lot of existing providers that are already handling online gambling in the state that could start offering sports betting without starting from scratch in the licensing and regulatory process there. A good example of which is Betfair. They're one of the biggest sports betting providers in the world at present, and they already have their online casino presence in New Jersey and are doing very well there. They're one of the biggest in the state, and so it makes perfect sense that they would be getting on board and offering, maybe perhaps in partnership with Golden Nugget, who's their licensing partner for online casino, that they'd be getting involved in sports betting. And I think you're going to see more and more of that kind of thing. I mean, Monmouth Park, they're working with William Hill. There's just no reason that they wouldn't be able to get online quickly with William Hill as their partner and all the products that they've already built overseas. So yeah, I mean, I think that that's going to be happening this year, online sports betting in New Jersey.
And also, what I'm hearing from you is, do you think that the online sports betting will mirror the online casino structure that New Jersey has? You know, there will be a central license holder, and underneath there are a whole bunch of skins that work under the central license?
I think so. I'm not completely sure of that, but I think that that's the way things will probably shake out, just because it's worked so well for online casinos and it makes sense. And I know that there are certain issues with sports betting that don't exist, like just the fact that they're based on real events and that they're, because of that, additional regulatory concerns with integrity, not to use the word everyone hates now, but those kinds of things that we have to think about that you don't necessarily have to think about with a slot machine. But just the same, I do believe that Betfair would be able to have a branded online site for sports betting in New Jersey, and I think a lot of companies will be doing that. And if not, they'll at least be partnering with the brick and mortars to provide their platforms.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know New Jersey's ready for sports betting. What can we expect from markets like Pennsylvania? I'm hearing a lot about West Virginia and New York. When do you think you see them getting into sports betting? Are we talking about next year or maybe even this year?
For most of the states that have already passed laws, I expect it sometime this year. I think that they're going to be anxious to get going with it, and we'll really be pushing ahead, including with online. I definitely think that West Virginia and Pennsylvania particularly are going to be pushing ahead quickly with online.
Well, we're running out of time, and believe me, this issue is just beginning to get interesting and complicated, so we're lucky to have Adam Small from PennBets.com and NJOnlineGambling.com to come on from time to time and let us know what's going on in the gambling world and now the sports betting world. Adam, thanks for coming back on.
Yeah, Dave, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Free stuff is awesome, but free stuff that will spice up your bedroom is even better. Just go to adamandeve.com and select almost any one item for 50% off, and then we'll load on the free stuff. Just enter this very exclusive code, BABE16 at checkout, and you'll get 10 tantalizing free gifts, including a sexy item for him, a special toy for her, and a third item you'll both enjoy. And for your viewing pleasure, 6 free spicy movies on DVD, plus free shipping! Always sent in discreet packaging. So go to adamandeve.com now. Get 50% off plus 10 free gifts when you enter the exclusive offer code BABE16. Again, that's BABE16. Because without it, no free stuff. That's BABE16 at adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Boy, some great information from Adam Small. Boy, it's
always good to have him on it. He's one of the
yeah.
most knowledgeable guys in the business, so it's always great to have him on talking about these things. And this is such a fast developing situation here with this sports betting. It's really fluid. Don't know which state's going to be able to launch first. Don't know how the regulations are going to shake out. It's going to be fun to watch this.
I think, you know what, my vote is, I think Delaware, because they already have like a system in place. They have parlay betting, which I don't think it takes too much to change their software into, I don't know, regular betting or line betting or whatever that is.
I honestly think it's really going to be dependent upon the operators.
Monmouth Park was just raring to go.
Well, I'm not even talking about. Wow. I'm not even talking about the park. I'm talking about who comes in to run the stuff, like William Hill.
Yeah.
William Hill is
Hill's
constantly
there.
doing it, and they also have Paddy Power there too because of Haskell.
Yeah, the Haskell is a horse race. I think it's in July. Doug, is July or?
It's in July. They just had the 50th running too.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but it's interesting. DraftKings just moved down to New Jersey or opened up an office in Hoboken, and I just saw a tweet from them.
Yeah, they're
regarding sports betting.
They're setting up a newsletter so people can get updates on how they're progressing with all that
the
stuff.
Sports betting. Yeah, so it looks like everything's starting to get into place. People are getting ready.
You're hoping.
I'm hoping. Boy, I can't.
And according to New Jersey, was it Senator Sweeney? He's introduced legislation. They're hoping to have sports betting up and running by the NBA Finals in New Jersey.
I don't know about that one. Probably not.
That might happen. I don't know. They're moving pretty quick. Borgata has announced that as soon as regulations are in place, they're ready to go.
Yeah, and I heard the hardware at least is moving into Monmouth Park, and I know they had a big press conference there, and someone said they're actually wheeling in equipment. So it looks like it's starting to move forward. So interesting summer coming up.
Yeah, it's. I'm waiting to see exactly how Pennsylvania fits into all this, and also whether or not we're going to see some online sports betting.
Yeah, that's what I'm
away.
waiting for. I want to see who goes online first, how that online system works. Is it going to be like fantasy sports since DraftKings is throwing their hat into the ring? So we shall see.
And also you have Paddy Power making a bid for FanDuel.
Yeah, Paddy Power. I've heard reports about that. So let's see what happens with that.
And Sweeney's legislation for Jersey also includes a out-of-state clause potential. There's something about if the state enters into a pact with another state and it doesn't go against the federal regulations, if any come out, you don't have to be in New Jersey to bet.
Yeah, well, New Jersey has that pact with Nevada and Delaware for online poker, so we'll see if they weave in sports betting too with it.
It's going to be fun to watch. Like this is going to be like it was with online gambling all the way back when online poker first started before Black Friday, way back when years ago. So we'll see. We'll see if this actually kicks Atlantic City up another notch too, because it's casinos and racetracks.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're also talking about doing something with the old Atlantic City racehorse track.
Yeah, no, I think it's a big shot in the arm for the horse racing industry because
they need it.
New Jersey, the law says you can bet at horse tracks. So sports bet at horse tracks.
You got Meadowlands.
Meadowlands, you can actually see Manhattan from there. So
that might spur that casino project that they talked about way back when too. Xanadu, that mall they have there, and see what happens with up in North Jersey, because North Jersey needs something too.
Yep, it's wide open now. Well, stay tuned because this issue is just being born, and it's going to live and breathe, and we'll see what happens this summer and how the leagues cope with it too. So have a great week, and we'll see you next time on the Turnpike.